RDR fam, how's everybody doing? Hope everybody had a great Friday and a great week, and into sort of a long weekend, depending if you're off Monday or not. But anyway, um, again, hope everybody had a great week. Uh, we'll talk about DR. Literally only one DR trade today, but it was what we needed. Plenty of other trades. I will say that plenty of other different strategies that you could have traded today, specifically around ICT. Uh, but again, we'll sort of focus on DR. I'll give you kind of a heads up on some of the other trades I took. But let's start out with we had news this morning. PCE. Um, um, I think it's one of the price indexes. I can't remember what PCE stands for, but came out and it was in line with the estimates, and so we started our move up at that point. And as you can see, we had price shot up, consolidated for a minute, and then as soon as the market opened, we start moving up again. Now, I will say I did take a trade here, um, not DR related, but really because we had this really nice fair value gap sitting here, right around 9:30. Price comes in, uh, tests the bottom of that gap, and then comes back up. I took a trade at the top of the gap, and that was a pretty easy um, 10-point trade for me. Could have been more, but wasn't being greedy. So 10 points seems like a little bit these days, but we'll take it. All right, so um, that also triggered our DR setup. And so, if we look at this morning, we had 44.65 to 44.87, so about a 22-point range, which is, again, we like 16 to 20 plus, so that's really pretty good because we'll have a lot of room for movement within the range. The trade I took was 44.68, and I got it at 78. Could have probably had another 5 points or so on that one, but again, not being greedy. It's been a really really good week, so didn't want to take too many chances. All right, so we come up and we test IDR high after 10:30. Um, End up being a basically a equal high scenario here where we set DR high at 10:20, and then at 10:30 we came right back up and tested it, rejected off of that again, and so came down to zero point 0.5 fib. Potential trade here, but again, we hadn't confirmed, so it's not an official trade. So it's up to you if you want to take that kind of trade. I did not, um, and so price went up. So from 77, that got up to 85. So that was actually an 8-point trade roughly. We came back down again, and here's a second non-DR trade I took. Was again another fair value gap, and price came down, tested. I get in right here on 78, and then I take this up. This was a 5-pointer for me. Could have been more, but I wasn't. Again, I was just trying to get in and get out at that point, right? Because we hadn't confirmed, and I actually said if we didn't confirm by noon, I probably would take the rest of the day off from trading, but I didn't do that. So got in here, top of this fair value gap, took 5 off of that one. Could have been another 70, 78. Yeah, definitely could have been another 10-pointer. But again, I wasn't too worried about that because the next trade that came in, so I got 5 here. And so if you look now, we, again, and something else I want you to notice, like we talked about yesterday, this candle here, we closed above IDR high, right? So the body of that candle closed above. So that lets me know that we're pretty close to, confirming high, because that's like a precursor to it, right? Because we tested the DR, but we didn't close above it, closed above the IDR. So next candle, of course, we closed above DR. And a couple candles later, we retrace, and this was the only true DR trade for today. And we retrace down. Now, if you notice where we are, we're at 44.8750. There's a fair value buy side liquidity right up here at 44.9375. This is a weekly buy side, right? So if on Sunday nights when you're doing your chart prep and you pull your weekly out, you put a buy side there. So I had been looking at that literally all week to see if we get there, because again, it's a weekly one, so it's pretty strong. And then I can't remember what time, probably about 10, maybe 11. ICT actually posted on Twitter with that 44.9375 as what he was looking at for buy side. So, it wasn't a chart confirmation, but it was a pretty good confirmation that we likely will be headed that way. And so when I got in on this trade for the DR trade, I put my stop right at 44.9375. Okay, so that's what? That's 87, 88, 89, 90, 1, 2. Yes, I'm counting my fingers. So that's about 6 points or so. And so we actually came up, took it off here. So got on, got out. So it wasn't a standard 5-10. It was at a specific point I wanted to get out of that trade. So so that was again about a 6 and something point trade. And then the rest of the day we kind of just consolidated around that buy side. All right, and so if you were looking at scalps, yeah, there were some scalps you could have gotten here, a couple points, 2, 3 points, 4 points. Yeah, you could have done all that stuff in here. But again, that's dangerous territory. Really quick way to lose a lot of money. Now, one thing I did do today, and I don't normally do this, is I actually traded 2 ES contracts today. Right, so each tick was $25. Right, so I'd been doing it in Sim, and Sim is different, right? Sim is like, the money doesn't really count. So doing it live, you kind of have to get used to it. So that's why I was a little more cautious on some of these, where it's, hey, 5 points, go ahead and get out, and take your profit that way. So not sure if I'll be doing that, how much I'll be doing it. I mean, I'm working my way to it where it's more comfortable, because you think about it, you can gain a lot very quickly, but you also can lose a lot very quickly. So it is what it is, right? So end of the day, we talked about it yesterday about price either drops or shoots up at 350, and you notice what it did today. It did both. Shot up a bit, and then at that last 5 minutes. Now this is it's the last day of the month. It's also the last day of the quarter. So it had to be some rebalancing going on here, right? So we shot up a bit, but then right at 355 we came down. So if you were trying to take this trade today, you had to either get lucky and wait till 355, or you got out and scalped the 351 in the bullish direction. So again, really not a whole lot else to talk about. Really good week for DR. Like I said, last week or so I call it being on vacation. DR wasn't really confirming, and if it was confirmed really late. So today we confirmed a little late. We confirmed at 1 o'clock. But the last few days we had been confirming right around 10:30, so we had a lot of time to maneuver. So anyway, that's it. Hope everybody again had a great week. Let's make sure that we're loving on our family and friends, and because we never know when they might not be there. So God bless, and we will see you. Remember, Monday is a half a day, I believe. And then, of course, we'll be closed Tuesday. Now I gotta look at the futures market, because futures sometimes we have a market holiday, but the futures will still play out, or they'll play it until like 1 o'clock on certain days. So I'm not sure what that looks like, and I pretty much doubt I'll be doing anything with that, because a lot of times there's no volume, and it's kind of hard to keep up with what's going on. So. And plus, I'm sure I'll be on some barbecue grill or something at some point. I'm sure one of my kids is going to ask me for that. So we'll see. If they do, then, got to do the dad thing. So, all right. Anyway, again, God bless, and we will see you next week.